Hello, Soo Inn here. You may know my son is this famous pastor in Melbourne named Stephen. With my wife Bernice, we run a small ministry called Graceworks. It's based in Singapore, and we are committed to seeing the promotion of relational transformation, of seeing lives transform to authentic relationships. And so one of the things we often talk about is spiritual friendship. To me, John 15 is this incredible chapter in the Bible. Here, Jesus calls his disciples, and I think by extension all of us who claim to be disciples of Jesus Christ, friends. He calls us friends. Now we know Jesus is the Messiah, God come to us, and he came to fulfill the Old Testament prophecies of the Messiah being prophet and priest and king. But friend, now that's different. In the Old Testament, maybe Abraham or Moses may consider themselves personal friends of God. But in the rest of Israel, no one would dare to claim this personal friendship with God. But here we have, in the New Testament, something new has happened. The Messiah, God himself, calls us friends. But more than that, when he then goes on to say, you are to love one another as I have loved you, the implication is clear. If we are disciples of Jesus, not only is he our friend, he expects us to be friends with each other. Now, when Christ says, you love one another as I have loved you, he therefore also assumes that we will understand that the way he loves us is the model for how we ought to love one another. And how did Jesus love his disciples? Number one, he accepted them. This is from the Gospel of John. He accepted them. This is true in the other Gospels as well. Often the disciples didn't get what he was trying to do, didn't get who he was, but he still loved them. He forgave them. He embraced them. So friendship means accepting people as they are. He was committed to loving them. In John 13, he loved them to the very end. And this is not just a fair weather relationship. He spoke truth to them. Whatever the Father has told me, I will tell you. He encouraged them to bear fruit. A good friend will want to stir you to love and good deeds. Friendship is not just about caring for your needs, but it's also about inspiring you to be the best you can be for the kingdom. And above all, Jesus laid down his life for them. A true friend is one who will lay down his life for you. This is that key mark of Christian friendship. But how do we do this? Look, again, Jesus one example. He had a small group of 3, Peter, James, and John. Then he had this group of 12, then some group called the 70, and then larger groups. And interestingly, they correspond quite well to Dunbar's numbers of how people connect. Dunbar talks about 5, 15, 50, and 150. So the 5, 15, and 50 could correspond with our 3, 12, and 70. So the kind of commitment needed in spiritual friendship, we obviously can't have tons and tons of friends at that level, although our heart is open to all people. So you should be asking yourself, do I have this intimate group of 3 or 4 very close friends? Do I have a larger group, maybe corresponding to our cell groups, about 12 or 15? And then there are larger circles of people we connect with. Dunbar says maximum is 150. So I think this is something we need to take seriously, because I think God expects us to follow Christ in the company of friends. In a world that is very lonely, in a society that may be very chill or treasure right doctrine or activism, we often don't take the time and invest the kind of life we need to walk with others. But I think that is something very detrimental to our walk with Christ. If you are serious about following Christ, you need to follow Christ in the company of friends. So who are your spiritual friends?